We are live.
Can you share the link on Facebook? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are.
Good
Um,
afternoon.
yeah, we're going to start the show in like 30 seconds. We just want to share the links on Facebook so that others will be able to get it and share as well. That's why I'm looking into my laptop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday.
Wait a minute.
Okay, I just shared the link with you, so you can just go ahead and use that one so we start.
Okay. Sharing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Sunday. Welcome to another Sunday evening here in Maryland. And you can mute yourself.
Yes, if you join on another device, just reduce the
Yeah.
volume.
Okay. Perfect. I think we're good now. So today we'll be talking about something very interesting. As you can see, we have someone with us on the show, and I will not say anything about him because I'll allow him to talk about himself. And maybe you've seen him before on You Can Be Anything podcast, or maybe you've seen him somewhere on Facebook or your WhatsApp status, and we're just sharing him to talk about some great ambitions that he got. And Solange, do you want to say hello to the crew first?
Oh, hi. Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ice. Happy Sunday, and thanks to you all who are able to join. So, as you can see, there is a familiar face in the house, and we are here for a special edition, right? That's how I call this. And the goal here is we want to ask some pertinent questions, understand certain things. And so we'll be prompting Gabriel Njinimbot a lot to talk about what he's up to. And so thank you again, Gabriel Njinimbot, for accepting to come to the platform one more time. And this time we are doing it live, right? So we are happy to have you. Welcome again to the live show.
Yeah, thank you, Solange and Ice. It's wonderful to be back. And I want to say, first of all, that you guys are doing an amazing job. I think we talked about the last time this is your 48th episode, right? Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
that's fantastic. That's wonderful. I just wanted to echo that you both are doing a very good job, and I can't wait for this show to become so viral that people can't wait to join the show on the Sunday. But yes, I'm so happy to be back here to talk about everything, talk about myself, and the things that I'm planning on doing in the next few months. I'm very excited to be back.
Thank you. So you've just give a snip of like you have a plan of what you're about to do. Can you talk a little bit more about that so the audience are aware of where you're actually going, with what direction are you taking, and what's that great ambition you're about to move into or step into?
Yes, I think that it's more or less public information now that I'm trying to do one of the most audacious things that I have tried. I know I've done so many in the past, but this one is a little bit. It raises my hair every time I talk about it or I think about it. Is running for the United States House of Representatives.
Great. That is a big one. And that's not something that I'm familiar with from my community. And
Mhm.
I am also intrigued and very inspired by by that decision. So I see myself and my community differently right now because you stepping into that uh, kind of light or lamplight. But I want to ask, what influenced you to take that direction? What's the
So,
influence?
if
Yeah.
I may interrupt a little
Yeah.
bit, just because you and I have chatted with Gabriel Njinimbot doesn't mean that everyone here watching or everyone that will stumble on this video will know who he is. What about we talk a little bit about who he is first? Then we can get right back to you, Eyes.
Okay.
Sure.
Please. Mhm.
You know, about 2 decades ago, I moved from Cameroon in a small town. But okay, I could see you guys now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay, those a little glitch, but yeah. So I'm originally from Cameroon, in western region called Bali Nyonga. For those who are familiar with it, and I came here about 24 years ago with just $100 in my possession, and we grew up not very rich, as you guys might imagine. And uh, my parents basically were farmers. They did everything they could to ensure that we have an education. We struggled while we were growing, and uh, we went through primary school, as they call it, secondary, and through university. It was not a very easy journey, but then because my parents believed in me and my siblings, we were able to go through school. And I came to the United States about 24 years ago, and you know, started life working in a seafood restaurant right there in College Park in Maryland. And subsequently, I worked as a security guard. I went to nightclubs and picked bottles to try to sell them off to make some money. And I took a series of computer classes, and subsequently became a Microsoft certified systems engineer, and then got a job. Spent 20 years in the IT industry working for Baltimore City for 18 straight years, and I worked for PG County government and a whole bunch of other Fortune 500 companies, and also established a couple of small businesses. And today I want to run for Congress. And the reason why I'm running for Congress is because, over the years when I came in, I've been helped by so many people uh, who have helped me in so many ways to become who I am and stand on my feet. And I thought that the best way for me to give back and pay it forward is by running for an office that can allow me to represent folks and fight for the working class families, fight for people who are struggling to survive and pull themselves up to the middle class. And so it's time for me to do this. I know that many people think I shouldn't do it because of where I come from, or because of my background, or because I don't have friends who are rich or friends who are millionaires. But I want to defy that odd, and I'm going to put my head into the ballot box when it comes time next year.
Great. That's a great one. And coming from all the way from the Northwest region in Cameroon to the United States
Yes,
24 years ago, and
correct.
getting into tech, talking about software engineering, and now you're switching into politics, if I may say. What influenced this decision, and how did you prepare for this role that you're about to take?
The greatest influence for me is the fact that while I've been here for 22, 24 years, I have seen and lived experiences that most people in our community actually live. I grew up very poor, as I said before. And if you look around, it might seem like everybody's doing well, but a good majority of people in our district or in the country are people who fall below the poverty belt. They are working class families, people who do 3 to 4 jobs, three people who struggle every day to put food on the table and pay their mortgages and pay their car notes. But then the truth is that a majority of these people are not well represented by those who are working in the House of Representatives and as Congress as a whole. And this is because money has influenced politics so much that people like us who don't have money, it's been completely forgotten. They don't think that someone like me can be or should be running for office. But I think that it is that time of the in this country where those of us, you and those of us who are struggling, working every day, 2, 3 jobs, should be the ones to actually represent those below middle class in Congress because they understand and know what it takes to be a struggling American. So this is one of the reasons that has pushed me so hard to run for this office because I know what it means to suffer. I know what it means to earn a minimum wage. I know what it means to send kids to school. I know what it means to have families that depend on you. I know what it means to have not have health care. I know what it means to be working 16-hour shifts because I've done it all. And so I think that if I were to go to Congress, I would be able to better represent all of us who are still struggling to make life better for us.
Yeah, as I listen to you, I hear some aspects of your mission, things that you're about to help your community with. And I know when we talk of community here, it doesn't mean our community, Cameroon, in to be precise, but then the community that will be represented once you get into Congress, because I say once you get there, because I believe that is possible.
Yes.
And just to add, apart from representation, what other mission do you have? Apart from representing the people, what should the people look up to? Say, I'm going to vote for Gabriel Njinimbot. Is there, apart from representation, is there something else that we gain as we can benefit from voting you into that platform?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. There is a lot that we stand to benefit if I were to get elected into this office. And we could spend the next 2 hours talking about it because I have spoken to hundreds and hundreds of people, citizens of this constituent. People are struggling. People are suffering. People need the government to step in and help them or protect them when they cannot help themselves or protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all of us are better if we can grow together, right? If the economy is richer, or we have people who are richer at the expense of poor people in our community, then the economy doesn't get any better. So I want to do this because there is a series of issues that our community is facing. I'll take just two of them so we could talk about this. Education, for example. The reason why I'm standing here today is because I was able to have an education. And I'm pretty sure that you and most people across the country who have attained a certain level of education or a success is because they were able to go to school. Now, in our district or in most parts of the state and across the country, there is a lot of people who don't even have that chance to go to school, even though we are in the United States. Now, those who are able to go to school are still struggling. You have parents, single parents, or even parents who take care of their children who still struggle to make ends meet. Now, the fact of the matter is that those who represent us in Congress are so disconnected with grassroots that they don't understand what people are actually facing. I'll give you an example. In my district, which is District 4 in Maryland, which constitutes most of Prince George's County, the educational system still ranks 22nd out of 24 in the district, in the whole state. And in most schools, the math proficiency of kids in this school district is at 8%. The reading proficiency is at 24%. And the graduation rate is at 76%. Now, there is a lot of leaders who, over the past 20 years, have seen this decline in performance and standards right before their eyes, but they have not done. They've done much. They haven't done much, but they think they actually are solving this problem. But wait until you speak to constituents, parents, teachers. They will tell you that they have settled for this status quo for too long, and now they can no longer take it. And it takes someone like me who has actually lived it and has experienced it and has spoken to hundreds of people in this constituency who tell me that this is the problem they have. Now, what do I bring to bear? I think that the first way of solving a problem is to identify what the problem is. Okay, we've identified that there is an issue in the school system compared to all our neighboring counties. We identified that problem. Two, we have to talk about these issues, not once, not twice. Well, we have to be true about it. We cannot fudge the numbers. We have to be conscious and intentional about what we're doing, right? We identify it, And we have to make some noise about it. We have to galvanize folks and say, look, here's what issue we're having with in our educational system. If we're planning to raise kids who can compete in the global economy, we have to make sure that we give them the best education that they will use to compete with kids from India, children from China, and the rest of it. Now, that might sound like some political soundbite, but wait until I galvanize 2,000 people, and then we could be able to start fixing this problem.
Great. As I listen to you, I just want to bring in the fact that I recently, your book was some of your books were accepted into the PG library, if I'm not mistaken. And
Correct.
I see that background, how you aim to foster education. But sometimes, and you kind of answered the question I'm about to ask very slightly. We talk about Congress, and we coming from Africa and settling and naturalizing into the United States, sometimes we are not well educated on what that means to have somebody that is a representation of us in Congress. So if there is someone out there listening to you and they don't know how this functions, what I'm looking for a better word to frame that. Who is out there? Who is liable? Or I'm losing my words. Who is liable to vote for you? Is it anybody from any county around Maryland, or just the people from the PG County?
So, because this is because I'm running for a position that is it's restricted to District 4. Because, as you know, the country is divided in districts in every state, right? So, if you're a resident in District 4 in the state of Maryland, and you're voting for someone who is running for Congress for that district, only those who reside in that district can vote, and registered voters can vote for me on election day. Now, because it's not a statewide election like the governor position, not everybody in the state can vote for me. Just people who reside in the district are able to vote.
Oh, okay. And those are just citizens, American citizens that can vote for you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we see some people online. Please, if you're on the chat, please share the video. I see Maurice, thank you for joining. And send your likes and share the video so it can go fast. Lunch, are you online? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you have the next question, please?
Yes. There.
I could not hear you.
If you're talking, we cannot hear you.
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, now we can.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm trying to be the technician back here, trying to fix things in the back office. Great. So thank you so much. Ice, thanks for those beautiful questions that you just asked. And again, Gabriel, for the way you've responded to those questions. I was actually looking forward to asking you that question of like, hey, who would you describe a congressperson to be? What is that to a lay person? If somebody were to walk up to you and say, hey, what does it mean to be a congressman in the United States of America? What is the, not like the job description or the role description, but what will you tell the layman on the street? Let's say, yes, you have your younger cousin come in from Bali today, and you say, hey, I am a congressman. Again, we are saying all of this in the positive mood because we trust that you can make this, right? And you have to tell them, like, who is a congressman in the United States of America? What would you, like, just in the simplest way possible, who is that person?
So I would be happy to answer that question in the sense that if anybody were to walk to me and say, who is this, who are you as a congressman, what that means exactly is that I'm someone who has been sent by the people in my district to represent them in government and be their voice in government, meaning that I'm someone who talks to people in my district, find out what issues they're spending, they're having, find out what problems they're having, find out what is needed for them in terms of their education, find out what is needed for them in keeping their community safe, find out what's needed for them to make sure that they're keeping the environment clean, find out to make sure that folks in the district are working and making good money and are able to be able to take care of themselves, pay their mortgages, pay for their phone bills, be able to find a job, feel safe in their community, not being marginalized by anyone because of their skin color or because of their gender. Be able to make sure that our senior citizens living in their houses are able to have the prescription drugs that they need at affordable prices. Make sure that people can buy houses, so people can live the American dream. So the function of a congressman, or the function or my duty in Congress, is not to show that, oh, I was elected in Congress, is to work for the people. That's why they send us, or they will. That's why the voters are going to send me over there come April of next year. So the duty of any congressman, in a short sentence, is to serve the people, everyone, not without any without discriminating. Everyone in that district, whether they voted for you or not, you are still there to serve them.
Yeah, so you're that mediator between your district and the government.
Correct.
You're the middle person. Okay, great. Thank you. And in the course of talking, when you chatted with Ice earlier on, we did hammer a little bit on education. Again, just looking at the news and reading, for anybody that pays attention to the news and what is happening, we know that it is popular, it is public information that PG County, or that, I don't know, not again, if you want to talk about your MD4, which again falls under PG, am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you've talked about how education is important there. One of the other things that comes up a lot is crime. So it is very common that someone will sit and say, yeah, you're going you're going in for the House of Reps for MD4. How do you think, or how are you aspiring? What are your plans to curb crime in the community? How do you plan to ensure that all the crime that has been happening around, and I know that efforts are being made to reduce it somehow, but it is still there. Where do you stand with this? How do you see yourself in a position where you can contribute in bringing down these crime numbers?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Just so you know, also, the district ranks second when it comes to crime in the state, second from Baltimore City. Now, I know the conventional wisdom is that when someone commits a crime, we should arrest them, prosecute them, put them in jail, and then, hopefully that solves that problem, right? But the problem is, though, when people go to jail and come back out, it's very tough for them to integrate themselves into the system. Nobody wants to hire somebody who has a criminal background, right? So, but I think that for us to tackle the issue of crime, and I know this is not going to solve the crime problem in one day.
Yep.
You have to look at this from 10,000 feet so that you could distinguish between the trees and the forest, right? So that in order to solve crime, we have to look at what's actually causing the crime. We see that there's a huge disparity between people of color when it comes to certain benefits, or in terms of access to certain benefits in the district, for reasons you and I cannot really understand, right? But we have to make sure that our kids, or the young students who roam the streets for the most part, be it at night or during the day, have something to do. Because you heard about this saying that the idle mind is the devil's workshop, right? So we have to have our kids engaged in something, be it after school programs, trade, where when they are not at school, they could engage themselves in doing computer programmings or taking courses to be a electrical technician, or a HVAC technician, or whatever they choose to do for life. And most of them are not necessarily going to go to college, but they should have something to do. And I think that is the government's responsibility to play its own role in making sure that these after school programs are actually there and make it not just there, but easily accessible for
So,
kids who are
yeah.
interested in learning. Now, are we saying
Okay,
Oh,
looks like there's a glitch and he's
yeah.
breaking out. Well, if you can hear us online, please send your likes and
If you have
hearts,
any
and
questions, yeah.
also put questions in the chat to ask. You must not be in the US to be able to ask questions, but just have your intriguing questions dropped in the chat so that we can use this to continue
okay?
the communication. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we lost
Because
your audio.
yeah, I don't know what happened, but I was trying to say that it's the government's duty to step in when people can't afford to do things that can help them survive. The truth of the matter is that in the middle class folks in this country, the working class families, people below the poverty line, they're struggling. It's not very easy to for some single parents or even parents who live together to send their kids to school, take care of all the bills, and sometimes the kids do fall in between the cracks. And the end result is that they're not going to graduate from school. And when they don't graduate from school and they have nothing else to do, what do you expect is going to happen to these kids? They're going to go out roaming the streets. They have to eat. They have to pay for their cell phone bills. They have to drive a car. They have to put gas in their vehicles, right? So I think that solving crime is not just by arresting people. We have to, and parents on the other side have to take that responsibility in being there for their kids. Dads have to be there for their boy kids, and the moms have to be there for their girl children, because these are part of the reasons why kids would grow up successfully. They can grow up to understand the values that we impart on them. But if we stay completely out of them, we're giving an opportunity for gang.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Looks like we lost audio again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening, but that was some good information that he was giving out there.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he joins us soon. And just to place more emphasis, please send your questions in the chat. We're talking today with Gabriel Njinimbot, who is running for Congress for MZ4, Maryland 4 District. And this is very exciting because as an immigrant and a Cameroonian to be precise, we've not seen this before. I haven't. Maybe somebody tried. I haven't. So it's something that we need to applaud just the step he's taking and support him as well, because we need representation anywhere we live. So if we have people who can represent us in the US Congress, that's a very cool thing. So I really hope that we all send our support towards him and continue to share and like the video while we wait for him to join the call again.
Yep, I agree with you. Again, it's possible that there could have been someone, another Cameroonian who has done this, but not in a district I've ever lived in, or somebody I know. So I think that this is, as he calls it, he describes it, a very audacious. So he himself knows that he's going in for something big. And so it is our place. It's our place, especially all of you who might have to come across this video and you live in the MD4 district. Please, it is important that we go out and vote, because again, this is not something that he's going to talk himself through. The only way that he's going to make it is if we actually cast these votes, right? And again, since this for the Congress, it is specifically for the districts. So only people that live in that district that are registered or residents of that district can actually vote for him. So please turn out and let's show him support. So I see he's back. I'm going to add him back to the screen.
Okay, that's cool.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know
Yes.
what happened here, but I'm here. I'm back.
That's what happens when you're about to take a bold step. Those are the challenges you face.
All right.
So
And
get
probably that's
ready.
going to lead us into, again, once you're done with you get all the thoughts that you had in your head before we had that glitch. We wanted to like to go through and look at some of those detractors, right? Some of
Yes.
those challenges that you're facing as you venture into this. The truth is that this is not an easy one. Whenever you talk about it and you call it an audacious move, I'm like, yes, this is one of those things that you step out with your head high and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go for this. And what do you need? You need people to support you, right? And I'm
Right.
happy that, again, I see the response is not bad. We have people who are rooting for you, who are supporting you, a lot of people out here. And so you got our support. And before when we lost you for a second, I was just talking about the people who are on the ground, the residents of MD4, Maryland District 4, looking like, hey, please go out and cast those votes, because it's not how much you sit here and articulate to us. It is not how much you tell us about what you want to do that is going to make this work. It is the votes. What matters is the count, the votes, the people who go out to vote. So again, that's just what we're talking about when we lost you.
So right now, I think it's you've mentioned your mission, and it's,
Oh,
as I
he
said.
looks frozen.
Oh
Are you
yeah,
there?
yeah. I think he's frozen.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we are having three on the show, right?
That might be the.
Yeah, and that's why I want to. So once he joins, I'm going to get out of the studio and just have you two only come in if I have a question. So hope we don't lose him again.
Yeah. While we're trying to get him back, I see he's
Mhm.
out again. Um. I'm just thinking, if you're out there and you're watching from anywhere around the world, um, this is not just something that those in the US or those in MT4 should support. This is something that you should click share on your page, no matter where you are, just for this word to go out. And oh, he's back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had switched the devices because it looks like my computer is having some issues.
I
So
actually love this more. Look at this is Clara.
okay, good.
That is lunch for you.
All right. Okay, good. So let's keep going.
Okay. I see. We're saying something.
Yeah, so if we may get into this part right now, of course, taking this bold step or this big move, I know personally that you might be facing some challenges. And what are some of those challenges that you are facing? And in this process of becoming a congressman in the United States, what are some of those challenges that you come across?
Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. Uh, I've had people who've told me not to do this. They've told me that I'm not ready for this because I don't have the experience and I have no. I'm not a career politician, as they call me, and I recognize that, right? I recognize the fact that I'm not a career politician. I've never spent time in Congress or anywhere in the halls of Washington, where all the political decisions are made. And here's my response to them, right? If you remember what the Constitution, the first few words in the preamble of the Constitution says, it says that we, the people, right? It did not say some of the people. It said we, the people, could form a more perfect union. And what that means is that in this country, in the United States of America, the way the founders of this nation built its constitution, anyone who feels like they can change the life of other people by doing so in running for an office, any public office,
Yeah.
can. Okay. And I want to say to anybody out there who is listening that if you feel moved or if you feel that there's anything you could do to change the world or change the impact or change people's lives, go for it. Don't listen to what your naysayers are telling you, like some people are already telling me not to do it. So that's one of the biggest challenges I face is people telling me not to do it. But the good news is that I am very determined to do what I want to do. as far as running for this position is concerned. I know that it's possible because I speak to the people. I speak to folks in hundreds by the day. I get up in the morning in very good spirit, and I make phone calls to citizens of the district to find out what is important for them, what is most concerning to them, what do they think that we can change, what can I do to make some noise about the issues that they're facing. What can I do to get them to come out and vote so that together we could build a consensus to come up with solutions that we to fix what has been wrong in the past 20 years. The status quo has to change. And unfortunately, it's not going to change by the establishment. It's not going to change by those people who collect money from big banks and Fortune 500 companies to fund their campaigns, because when they get into Congress, they have to fight to pay back what they have been given. But I know nobody in Washington, okay? I know people like you, Ice, and Solange, and the hundreds of people who are donating to my campaign, the grassroots people. So that challenge is being overcome. I'm not concerned about those who tell me no. I'm not concerned about those people who say I can't, because I know I have grassroots support and I'm still building it up. And my second challenge is the fact that most of us Africans, I would say this, Africans don't get involved in the political system in the country. And I understand that most of us Africans, we just tend to work, because yes, we have the bills to pay, we have our mortgages to pay for, we have kids to take care of, we have all sorts of issues going on. But you have to remember that while you're working, you have people who don't understand your struggle making decisions for you. So I'm calling on all of us to, number one, if you are a United States citizen, and it means that you are eligible to vote, you could register online or go to those offices and make your vote count. Because if you don't, other people are going to make their decisions for you. People who don't know you, people who have never called you, people who don't care about you, people who are so rich and hang with millionaires and billionaires, they will sit in that House of Representatives there in Congress and make decisions about your minimum wage, which, by the way, in the state of Maryland is $12.20. Who live off of a minimum wage? Who could live in the United States of America in 2023 making a minimum wage, right? $12.20. A gallon of milk at the grocery store is $10.49, right?
Yep.
So the challenge that we face, or first-time candidates, progressive grassroots candidates like myself will face, is that not enough people will come out to vote on that day. And we need people to come out and vote so that the changes that we want, the better education, lowering crime, fighting for people's minimum wage, better education for our children, when we go to Congress, we can actually fight this fight, not fighting the fights of big oil companies or big banks or special interest groups or lobbies or big corporations. They're the ones that have the money. They make the decisions. They don't care about you and I. So those are the two big challenges that I face at this time. And I'm hoping that in the course of the months that I campaign and talk to people in the streets, I could convince people enough to register and vote. It's very important.
Great. I believe in you. And there is this question I have to ask you, because I'm very interested in America, in politics, on history, I'll put it that way. And when I look at other Congress women and men in the States, especially the immigrants, and I'm talking about looking at somebody, the Congresswoman from Minnesota. I know she's originally an immigrant from Ethiopia or Sudan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, from Somalia.
Somalia, that's it. And I see some of the questions or the challenges that she's facing as an immigrant. Are you already facing some of those challenges as an immigrant going for this role?
Well, so far, because I'm not in there yet,
okay,
I have not experienced it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case over there, because as you see, the way she was treated, some few months back, she got kicked out of the committee that she was in because of some comments that she made about Israel and so on. But we know that some of those things, it's deeper than what they show or what we see on national TV.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm ready for those things. Fortunately for me, I'm not too concerned about where I'm from or how I look or what the color of my skin is as I do this job. If I were to win, which I think I will, I will be representing everyone. People from every race, people from every color, people from every walks of life. And so, yes, it's going to be there, but I'm not terribly concerned about it, because my number one thing in Congress would be to fight for the people, fight for the grassroots people who are struggling to lift themselves up to the middle class. And I know that with the right representation and me concentrating on what I do, I would not have, any problems dealing with discrimination or segregate, whatever they want to call it. I'm not concerned about it.
That's good. I think that's a good mindset to have. And when you get there, I know you'll be very ready, and I know you're already ready for that. And now let's talk about how you're going to win this election and some of the strategies that you have in place. And Solange, prepare your questions if you have. So we're talking about the American citizens, like these are the people that are supposed to vote.
Yes.
And I know you need financial support to make this happen.
That's-
I know you need feet on the ground to actually make this happen. How can people who live, or immigrants, or who are living in the United States, who are rooting for you right now, how can they support you even if they can't vote? And our community from other counties around, how can they support you, not just by voting? What other means or strategies you feel like if they bring in place, they're going to push you to this house?
Great. That's actually a very good question. And the way the politics in America works is all about financing, right? And for myself, my campaign is a people-powered grassroots campaign. Okay, what that means is I'm not taking money from very rich corporations. So it's the $5-10 that people are already donating, which we're doing an amazing job when it comes to that. Thank you for also your donation as well. And Solange, is that we need more of these donations to come in. But like you said, we need support, not just financially, but we would need people who would go out to canvass for us, to knock on doors. We will need folks to volunteer, to make phone calls to all the citizens in the district. I have made 2,000 phone calls in the past 3 weeks, because I want to understand what people are actually going through and actually be a true representation in Congress. But to go back to your question, we need people to come out in their numbers so that we can send a message to folks that you need to come out and vote. Because even working class folks in this country, there's a lot of them that are not involved in the political process. But if they are aware of it, if we have an informed electorate, then people can come out and vote and support the agenda we're fighting for. But we will need more people. We will need lots of boots on the ground. We will need hundreds of people to go knocking on doors. We will need people to help us collect signatures, because we have to provide 5,000 signatures to be able to get on the ballot. We've already started the process, but we will need more help. So if you are in this district or in Maryland and you feel energized by the campaign or the things we're trying to do to change the status quo, you can go to my website, gabrielforcongress.com, and sign up as a volunteer, and someone in the campaign team will contact you, and you let us know what you could do, be it making phone calls, be it knocking on doors, be it distributing flyers, be it just sending the messages out in WhatsApp group to let people know that there's someone who is running for this office who is not part of the establishment and is thinks that we are capable of making this happen.
Excellent. So I'm just looking at the chat to see if there are any questions right now. Let me pull that real quick to see if there are any questions. Solange, if you can hear me, please, do you have more questions? I know I have a question which I want to ask towards the end, but if you have something that you want to bring, can you bring that? If not, I can go ahead. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was talking and I didn't realize I did not bring myself up yet. So I'm trying to post the website in the chat. I'm not sure if I got it right. GabrielForCongress.com. Any upper cases, anything? I've clicked on it a couple of times, but I don't think I know it apart.
Yeah, just lowercase Gabriel for Congress.com. Yes.
That's it? Okay, then I
Yeah.
got it right. Okay. Yeah, so I added the website to the chat. You can go check that out. And please, let's respond to this. I think that this is such an amazing venture, as I call it. And Ice did go deep and ask because it was important I think it is important for the people who are listening to us to actually understand how you're going about this and how they can support you. And you've gone ahead and answered those questions, which I think it's good. And again, if on that website you can actually for those of you who are in the US and you're listening, even if you do not live in MD4, you can actually support his campaign from that website. So yes, Ice, I think you hammered that. We are at 46 minutes. So what are some of the things you wanted to say? And then I actually wanted him to talk a little bit about, when I read this, I noticed you put it on quote. We can no longer settle for the status quo. We can do better. I wanted you to be able to throw a little bit of light. That can mean different things to different people. What does that quote mean to you as an individual, as Gabriel Njinimbot?
Thank you. What that means exactly to me is the fact that in the past 20 years, the folks in the district have settled for the bottom 50% as a standard for the educational system in the district. I mean, it's the numbers are out there. We rank 22nd out of 24. I don't know who wants his child or her child to come home with a report card that says you are number 22 out of the 24 students in the classroom. And this has been going on for a very long time. And I think that when I speak to the folks in the district, they are tired of it. They settled for the status quo for too long, and they know that we are in a country where we have all the resources, we have the means, we have the money, we can make a difference. We can change that status quo from being at the bottom 50% to 100%. We can reduce the crime rate by making sure that children have after-school programs, and everyone in this district who is able and willing to work can find a job. People are tired of the bureaucratic red tape that is involved in starting a small business. I cannot count how many people I've spoken to or people who have come up to me because they want to start a business. Because I run a small business as well. And the process of getting started, running the business and keeping it open administratively is very, very tedious. I could give you a lot of examples. Like I applied for a liquor license for one of my small businesses. It took more than 12 months for that to be issued and tens of thousands of dollars. Now, there's a lot of folks in the district who are very entrepreneurial. But because of the tedious process, the administrative process that is so difficult, what do people do? Folks resort to leave or just leave it alone or just give up. But I think that this status quo can change. We could relax the rules of starting a small business and still maintain the quality of the businesses that we want in the district. Okay, we could improve the educational system in our district and make life better for our children, and also have the kids be able to compete with other kids that are coming from different countries to the United States of America. People are tired of the status quo. People are tired of making minimum wages. People are tired of being safe in their community. We could talk about these issues, and we can talk about this not just some days, every day. And we can come up with solutions that can change. And I repeat this every time, right? We are not in a poor country. We're in a country where we have everything it takes to change something we don't like. And one way of changing it is by voting, especially because they're tired of the status quo, right? So to me, I hear the cry. I have seen the difference. I have seen the things that can change, and I know we can change it. But if you elect the same folks you've elected, in the same type of people you've elected in the past 20 years, and now you're expecting a different result, it's not going to work, because we have seen it. So I think that with my energy, with the passion I have, with my ability to work with people from all walks of life, me being elected into Congress means that I can come back and talk to the teachers, which I'm already doing. And I plan on visiting all the 209 schools in the district and talking to fire department, people who work at the fire department, talking to police officers. If we come back to the community that we are supposed to serve and talk to them every single day, that status quo can change. And I believe that the people listening to me in our district know it, and they're going to vote for me to make sure that we can change the status quo.
Yep, thank you. I needed you to say that in your own words. What does that mean to Gabriel Njinimbot? Thank you, and I bet you that that is a great response right there. All right, so I'm going to hand this back over to you for your any other questions you have. Then we can give the mic back to Gabriel Njinimbot for closing remarks.
Yeah, and I think I was just going towards that. When we go out and we want to, you've spoken to the people. I am inspired. I want to support. I want to see you in Congress. That's a dream for me to see you in Congress.
Thank you.
Because if you're not going to, you're building a platform for other immigrants and not just Cameroonians, for young Black boys to know that, hey, I can go anywhere no matter where I come from.
Hey,
So
remember the title of this podcast. Yeah,
you can
you
be
got to use
anything.
it.
You can be anything. So when I look at you, I see a big brother, but I also see the little Black boy with immigrant parents or maybe Native Americans. No matter your heritage, but just somebody who comes from a very humble background and wants to create a platform for those that don't even believe in themselves. So when I look at you, or when the people look at you, what is one thing we should remember? And you can use that to close the show as well as your closing remark. When I hear the name Gabriel Njinimbot, what is one thing that you want the people to remember about you and to motivate and inspire them to go and cast that ballot for you come April 4th, 2024?
Thank you for kind words and good remarks. What I would like to say is that Frederick Douglass, in his 1852 speech, it was a July 5th speech, he did say that we must give folks a chance. We must give our citizens a chance to live a better life. We have to give them the opportunity to pursue their dreams. We have to give them the chance to do what they do best. And also remember that, as they said, all of us on this planet were created equal and endowed by our own creator with certain unalienable rights, among those who were life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. My journey today is to inspire other people. And whatever struggles I would endure, whatever pain I would get, whatever challenges I'm going to face, whatever mountains I have to climb in order to get this done, or to break this glass ceiling, as they call it, is to let everyone below the middle class, people who thought that their origin, their life, their struggles is a barrier to achieving certain type of dreams, should understand that it is possible for your dreams to be achieved. And to understand that we all can grow together. And when we grow together, life is better for everyone else. And that the rich should not get richer at the expense of the poor. And that the poor, they also have a place, they also have a voice in this country. And that we should never, ever forget that we all are all children of God, and we deserve to live a better life. And that when the rich folks go rich and get going and forget about those who are behind us, that's not what I'm going to be doing. In my bus and the journey to Congress, I will make sure I pick each and every one, from Black, white, poor, disabled and not disabled. I don't care what your gender is. I want everybody on that bus so that tomorrow we all can rise in chorus and say, yes, we did it. and say, yes, we have changed other people's life by just talking, by just fighting for them. We have changed the life of people who never dreamt, that they could be anything, people who never thought that they could run even for city council, people who never thought that as immigrants, your name could even get on that ballot. This is possible. The fact that I'm standing here today and saying that I'm running for Congress can only happen in the United States of America. A boy who was born 12,000 miles away from where I'm standing now and trying to run for this office. And I could have never thought that on this podcast, talking to two females, we grew up thousands of miles from this country as children in high school, in secondary school. We never dreamed that we could be, with the use of technology, talking and voicing our concerns and trying to fight for other people. We never dreamt of that. But today, we are doing it. And we could do more. We could do more because, like they said, the sky is not even the limit because there are footsteps on the moon. And where we come from, Ice and Solange, should not determine how far we can go. We have the strength. We have the ability to do so. And so you should never be talked down by none of your naysayers. In fact, I love my naysayers because they're the ones that motivate me. They energize me. And I think that with the same spirit that you have, the same spirit that both of you have, and the same spirit that all of us, those who are watching, immigrants or from all different countries, those who brave the jungles of South America and come to this country because they're running away from tyranny or hunger or strike, that as long as you're in this country and you have something in your mind that you want to achieve, if you persist and be consistent and be disciplined and be dedicated, there is no one who can stop you but yourself. I'm looking forward to your vote. My website again, gabrielforcongress.com. Please go in there and donate $5, $10 because it takes a grassroots to create a movement. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh my God. Like
Appreciate it.
what else can I even say? Like this is amazing. Like you stand there, you sit there, you're talking to us, and I can see the dreams, I can see the things I know that I want to do materialize already in my face just because of how you put those words, how you say these things. Thank you so much. Again, we are behind you. We'll give you our utmost support. However we can, just know that this platform, my followers, You Can Be Anything podcast, whoever stumbles on this video, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, will be behind you. We support you, we support your mission, and we trust that you can do it. Ice, I'm going to have you close this back just the way you opened it up.
You made me teary for a minute. I just saw myself, and that was good. Thank you. Thanks for the inspiration. It's if that doesn't change anybody or change mindset, what you've just said right now, I don't think there's anything else that can change a person. Talking about consistency, persistency, and dedication, and looking at you and seeing that you have lived by those values and you're achieving the things that you want to achieve in life, I think we're on the right bus. And we're ready to hop into your bus. And I know the PG County or MD4, everyone is ready to hop into that bus because we know you're going to be great. And we wish you luck. We're here to support you no matter what, no matter how. Boots on the ground, call me. I'll be there with you to do whatever thing I have to do to make that happen. And so thank you all for joining. Thanks to all of you who are sending your love, your likes. Please share the video, share the video. And until next Sunday, we love you. We thank you. We appreciate every like, every share, and every heart you send out there. We don't take this for granted. Have a wonderful week ahead, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.